Hello everyone and welcome to game 4 in the series between with JKS. Remember, this is a King of the Hill style, and I've purposely been playing this as King of the Hill style and not including their names so you don't know who wins or loses. We have Soccer spawning as the red Protoss player on the bottom left hand side here. Meanwhile, we have JKS spawning on the top right hand side of the map as the blue Zerg. And now I do believe that this Soccer is the we made Fox Soccer from the We Made team. A couple, or for those of you guys who follow Warcraft 3, I do believe this is Soccer, the Warcraft 3 player. But then again, someone could fill me in on whether or not this is, as we now see Soccer opening up with a front door pylon. I won't make any assumption that it is a Forge fast expansion as of yet, as lately I've seen at least White Raw go for an unusual gateway expand with the pylon on the low ground while applying pressure with early zealots. Now, probe will be coming up the ramp. This is Cloud Kingdom. The probe will take a look around, see that there is still no spawning pool as of yet, and perhaps try and find that spawning pool. The probe just dancing around the backside here will be able to escape very easily, as the spawning pool is now being established. Is he going to follow it up? Yes, it looks as though Soccer does spot the spawning pool and knows that a hatchery will not be placed down, at least not for a little while longer. One of the things that you can do when playing up against a Zerg player is also keep track of the Zerg cocoons, and those Zerg cocoons pretty much tell if the Zerg player tries to stop or slow down any of his production on drones. If he does slow the production on drones, at that point I would suggest that he is trying to go for a hatchery and trying to save up the minerals. We now see a pylon being placed down over here, as we are going into a Forge fast expansion. That Forge will be completed in just a second. This pylon will be done, and we'll see how this will all be followed up, as a drone may try to make his way here and set up a third base. We already see drones now making their way over. It looks like the drones are going to get some damage, but the probe may actually get some damage onto the drone instead. Perhaps a photon cannon could be added here, as the pylon is now down to 100 shields. Zerglings now making their way over. The probe knows that it needs to get away in a hurry, and with now only a photon cannon being established on the front door, this is rather tricky. Soccer knowing the positioning, and I was concerned that there wouldn't be enough room here for that Forge. It looks like there will be exactly enough room there, as now the Zerglings and the drones look to finish off that pylon. The probe now down to 7 hit points. Looks like it will be able to escape, and with that retreat all the way back home after this hatchery is still in production. Soccer losing that front door pylon, as JKS looking to establish that hatchery now. Nothing too out of the ordinary so far. Front door gateway, Forge, Soccer doing a Forge fast expansion. Meanwhile, a typical response of JKS trying to go for the double expand well before the 5-minute mark in order to deal with this Forge fast expansion. And it will be up to Soccer to try to dictate what happens next. If Soccer attacks, JKS will be forced to train up a lot more units and not be able to drone up as heavily. Also, you can see that JKS does have a very, very far hatchery. He's not going to be able to transfer a queen over there that easily. And if he does try to transfer a queen over there, it will reach there after some moments. Also, this expansion, because it is so far away, will not be able to share a spine crawler for any natural defense whatsoever. Queen still making that slow trek. It will get there in just a little bit of time, perhaps with enough energy for a spawn larva or a creep tumor. We'll see what's going to happen next, as JKS finally gets the unit back on creep, and the queen can take care of that hatchery. Probe now wandering out across the map. We'll see if perhaps a proxy pylon plus a proxy Stargate can be used. And a proxy Stargate would be fairly effective, except for JKS already spots this pylon here. This pylon most likely will just get cancelled. And with the cancellation on that pylon, I can't imagine what Soccer wants to do in terms of his harassment. He's already getting up a Stargate now back at home. Soccer being very careful to not tip his hand with that Stargate, building it in a rather tight location, but a position where overlords may not try to suicide themselves. Probe now retreating all the way back. Zealot on the move. You can see there is an Overlord in the air right here on the high ground. It is spotting much of the front door here, but I do not believe it spots that Stargate. Is just a little bit beyond sight range. That Stargate still has not been revealed, as the Zerglings now try to get in front of the Zealots. The Zealots now trying to be very, very careful. The Photon Cannon, however, at the front door doing its job, as the Overlord of JKS flying overhead, keeping track of all the tech buildings, and now we see 3 more gateways being built along the side here. Stalker sitting at 52 food compared to 59. Stalkers could be warped in. Void Ray now being, I guess a Void Ray is warped in as well. That's, I guess that's what the look is on when the building is currently being trained, or technically training. And we'll see how that all works out. Zerglings once again running away from Zealots. The Overlord now making its way in. The Void Ray gonna quickly shoot down the Overlord. One Overlord will get taken out. A second Overlord will get taken out as well. If it does get scouted out over here, is Stalker actually going to spot this? No, it doesn't look like it. Instead, he's going to straight up attack with Void Rays and Zealots with a +1/1 timing. And if those Zealots have 1/1 against Zerglings who are only 0/0, those Zealots are going to be able to slice through those Zerglings, and those Zerglings won't be able to deal much damage back. Void Rays in the air. We'll see what's going to be happening next. There is a Spore Crawler off over here. Zealots finding the Zerglings, finishing them off. One Zergling now hiding on his own, as now the Zealots and Void Rays on the move. Roaches are in position to try and deal with those Zealots, but the key question is whether or not the Void Rays can deal with the Queens and the Spore Crawlers. Here we go, double Void Rays, and now one unit already down. Void Rays now going after the Roaches, the Spore Crawler just outside of combat range, and now in comes a new Queen. The Void Rays now chasing after the Queen. Is it going to be enough? One Void Ray, dangerously low on hit points, chasing after a Queen. Down it goes. And now more Roaches still being added. A Spore Crawler not yet quite done. And there is nothing happening over here at the third base. JKS completely not reading Stalker's build here. Not getting enough Spore Crawlers, as the Void Rays are completely charged. And the Void Rays, as long as they can maintain that charge, can deal a lot of damage here. Zealots, Void Rays just inside the main base now, going after another Spore Crawler. The Spore Crawler will get taken out. More and more drones getting destroyed here. And what is going to happen next as the Queen now tries to run away? Spore Crawlers getting destroyed. One Spore Crawler going to get off perhaps 1 or 2 shots at the most. But these 3 Void Rays causing problems, as the one Queen after another getting destroyed. This Void Ray, is it going to maintain its charge? Yes, it will. And now going after a new unit there. There is one Spore Crawler off over here. More and more Void Rays getting destroyed. And now JKS is in trouble, as a second or fourth Void Ray joining in on the battle. Overlord's now backing off. This hatchery looks like it will go down. Spore Crawler now on the move. It looks like that was a bad mistake there. 6 seconds, far too long. As a Spore Crawler back over here, in comes a new Queen. The Queen, however, not fast enough to run away from the Void Ray, as the hatchery looks like it will get destroyed. So JKS still has the food advantage right now. That's 92 supply, but it doesn't look like it will hold out for very much longer, as the Spore Crawler quickly gets taken down. Drones now all getting destroyed. Are the Void Rays going to be able to perhaps push back in, trying to take down a Zerg Cocoon? But unfortunately, the DPS is not that high, or the damage is not that high. The front door, however, really just getting completely walled in here, as JKS forced to say GG up against Soccer. And the Harvester count, maybe, I'm not really quite sure I agree with this GG. 90 food versus 87. 4 Hydralisks, what's in production? 4 Hydralisks in production. 4 Hydralisks on the field. 6 Roaches on the field. A couple Zerglings. There is a proxy pylon down over here. I do understand that JKS is behind, but still, 51 drones versus 50 probes. The Void Rays, once the Hydralisks make their way onto the field and that Groove Spines perhaps completes, those Void Rays would pretty much be completely taken out. But then again, Soccer does already have Immortals, which mean that Colossi are not too far behind either. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed the game.